Hello and welcome back to Crypto My God. It's a fairly calm day out there. There's some really exciting stuff like the market infrastructure bill. It's just got a really big update. I'm going to have to dive a little farther into that, but it is looking good. However, I have some small news around adoption and positive flows in the direction we want to see. Let's get into it. So as we march towards this thing called global adoption, mass adoption, state adoption, nation adoption, I don't know what we really call it, but we're seeing the U.S. states begin to build. Of course, we have the examples of El Salvador, of Bhutan, two smaller countries, and of course we have here Pakistan to join the exclusive Bitcoin reserve with strategic BTC stockpile. Now what this really comes down to, and this is good for the globe, for just the way that Bitcoin mining happens in general, what they're doing is the government established the first PCC working on a craft regulatory framework to attract foreign investment. They're going to do this by legalizing Bitcoin mining and allocating 2,000 megawatts of excess electricity to state-run mining operations. Now, you probably don't know this, but a lot of the Bitcoin miner startups that I know personally, they're over in like Khazikstan, Pakistani region, and there's already a lot of this activity. So for them to do that from a national level, I mean, is this the place that like I'm super gung-ho for? No, but it's a step in the right direction. And again, baby steps take us to big, big man jumps. Now, as we keep going through the region, we also have Kazakhstan unveiling a crypto city pilot zone. I will say this doesn't excite me as much. We've seen a lot of these like future city pilot programs. They don't generally take off. Obviously, it's a weird place to live, and I don't know who necessarily wants to take their startup and their Bitcoin venture and go over there. But like I said, I do know some people already mining, so maybe there's enough of a community that something gets going here. Either way, I like to see it. The real signal in this noise that I'm pulling away is that smaller nations are looking at the crypto asset class and saying, maybe we can use this as a breakaway from the global economic model as it stands right now. Experimentation is going to be really fun. Akon tried to launch a city in Africa or the Caribbean last cycle around. I mean, these things are pretty consistent. They don't usually stick. Generally, when I see real estate pop up or anything firm, it's like, all right, you're kind of at a bubble top and these things go away at the pop. But it is nonetheless exciting to see. Again, Bitcoin and crypto is being viewed as just a maybe path, something to try if everything else isn't working for you. That's exciting to me because enough cracks at the rock and eventually it will break. Now, last but not least, coming back to the Bitcoin conference in Vegas, which was really rooted around stablecoins. I mean, honest to God, it was strange for me to watch the footage. Everyone's in a suit, a lot of people wearing ties, and it's like, this is Bitcoin. Like, what's going on here? But Tether CEO Paulo Arduino comes out and says, hey, Tether is going to be the largest Bitcoin miner in the world. Now, they were doing this down around Panama, I believe, and they're talking about scaling up even further, basically saying, I mean, they're making billions. They did $13 billion in profit last year, and they keep $100 billion blast in U.S. treasuries. So the model is going to continue, $120 billion earning that sweet, sweet yield from UST bills. They're also going to begin an aggressive mining effort. And of course, this will contribute to how do we look at Bitcoin once the 21 million supply runs out? What does the safety budget look like? How does it deal with quantum encryption as we get closer to all of that? These aren't really now problems. These are probably next 50 years. So you have a while to deal with these things. But, you know, Tether is a great place to see 100,000 Bitcoin and more than 50 tons of gold being held because they are very much Bitcoin maxis. They come from this ecosystem. So if someone's going to have a lot of it, I don't mind it being Tether. Now, these are all, again, not the biggest stories that I've come to break or things to talk about, but I do enjoy just watching the slow adoption of Bitcoin as an alt asset class. Of course, the institutions, they're like, fine, they're dandy. They're not the most exciting thing in the world, but nations being like, hey, man, maybe we can get off the petrodollar and secure ourselves something a little stable, a little more concrete for our people. I mean, this becomes really fascinating because, again, none of this stuff works until it does work. And El Salvador has had this huge back and forth with the IMF, and the IMF said, hey, no Bitcoin. And they said, well, fuck you. And now they've kind of landed in a middle ground, right? And that is fascinating. The powers that be are just going to have to reflect that these micronations are going to take the Bitcoin side and they're going to continue to experiment. I mean, what do they have to lose, right? So with that wrapping up, I mean, Bitcoin right now, it's very much sell a man, go away territory. But to be fair, it's May 29th. So like maybe that's almost over. I don't know. Doesn't seem like the conference did much to boost the price, but we also have this like binary on-off thing with the Trump tariffs and nobody knows what the hell's going on. So with that being said, good luck out there. I'll see you tomorrow. I go on a little bit of an adventure. I'm going to try to record it. Maybe I'll be able to talk about it and I'll get it to you as soon as I can. Stay safe out there and I'll see you later.